Hello again, Mr. Stewart here with another fine story, another favorite. This one has a wonderful rhythm and rhyme. It is called Iggy Peck, Architect. Turns out Iggy's in the second grade and already knows what he wants to be when he grows up. Iggy Peck, Architect. Written by Andrea, Beaty, and illustrated by David Roberts. Here we see Iggy as a baby. And here we see some architect's tools that do a lot of drawing. So here we go. Young Iggy Peck is an architect and has been since he was 2. When he built this great tower in only about an hour using nothing but diapers and glue. His mama, goodness gracious, Ignatius. Yes, Ignatius. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen. But then her smile faded fast when the wind blew past and she realized those diapers were not clean. Ignatius, my son, what on earth have you done? That's disgusting and nasty. It stinks. But Iggy was gone out on the lawn using dirt clods to build a great sphinx. Google it. Very cool. The boy's got some skills. When Iggy was 3, his parents could see his unusual passion would stay. He built churches and chapels from peaches and apples, and temples from modeling clay. At dinner one night, to his father's delight, Iggy got a gleam in his eye. Then out on the porch, built the St. Louis Arch using pancakes and coconut pie. Anybody been to St. Louis, seen the arch? Very cool. Dear Ig had made it into 2nd grade where his teacher was Ms Greer. On the very first day, she had this to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't talk about buildings in here. Gothic or Romanesque, I couldn't care less about buildings, ancient or new." She said in her lecture about architecture that has no place in grade 2. Whose heart's going to be broken by that? And it might seem severe, but she was sincere. For when she was no more than 7, she'd had a great fright at a dizzying height in a building so tall it scraped heaven. She was on an architect's tour of the 95th floor when Lila got lost from her group. She was found 2 days later, stuck in an elevator, eating cheese with a French circus troupe. Fromage. After that day, it's quite safe to say, she thought all building lovers, they must be nuts. And as a teacher, she taught that above all, one ought to avoid tall buildings. No ifs, ands, or buts. As you might guess, it would cause Iggy much stress to hear such terrible talk. But he didn't hear. He was back in the rear, building a castle using nothing but chalk. "You, Iggy Peck, your desk is a wreck. Tear down that castle right now. You will not build in here. Is that perfectly clear? Or do you need to go see Principal Howe?" No thanks. "No, ma'am," Iggy said as he lowered his head, and his heart sank down to the floor. With no chance to build, his interest was killed, and now 2nd grade was just a bore. But after 12 long days that passed in a haze of reading, writing, and arithmetic, Ms Greer took her class to Blue River Pass for a hike and an old-fashioned picnic. They crossed an old trestle to a small island nestled in the heart of a burbling stream. But no sooner had they passed when the footbridge collapsed, and that's when Miss Lila started to scream, "We're trapped over here! Oh my! Alas, kids, goodbye!" And then her eyeballs rolled back into her head. Yeah, she dropped to the ground with a vague groaning sound. Luckily, she had just fainted and was not dead. The class was amazed. They stood there quite dazed, uncertain of what they should do. But one bright young man was off hatching a plan, which started with Miss Lila's shoe. And when she came to, Miss Lila Greer knew that something quite brave had been done. She looked in the air and she saw hanging there this structure with cables and braces. And on the far side, beaming with pride, stood 17 smiling young faces. Because they had used boots, tree roots and strings, fruit roll-ups and things, some of which we probably should not mention. If I lose the purple underwear. But it was all stretched from ridge to ridge. It was a glorious new bridge dangling from shoestring suspension. Yes, it's a suspension bridge. Kind of like the Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco. And then it all became clear to Miss Lila Greer as she crossed that bridge over the stream. There are worse things to do when you're in grade 2 than to spend a little time building your dream. And now every week at Blue River Creek Elementary in 2nd grade, all the school kids can hear, along with Ms Greer, about how the world's greatest buildings were made. And their weekly guest speaker, he gets to wear a t-shirt and sneakers, he talks about buildings from Rome to Quebec. And of course, he's that guy who once built towers from pie. That brilliant young man, Iggy Peck, the architect. Thanks for coming today. Find some books, some stories to read. You'll have fun. It'll make you smarter. Come in again, and we will do this again. Have a fine day. See you next time.